Morning, everyone. I'm Dr. David Green. I'm the Deputy Chief with Colleton County Fire Rescue and the county's emergency manager. We're live streaming this morning from the Emergency Operations Center. I wanted to talk with everyone about the upcoming hurricane season and changes to our hurricane evacuation zones. So you can ask questions of us using this form. The link is colletonfire.com/question, and we'll receive your questions and answer any of them that come up. So Colleton County, the 2024 hurricane evacuation zones have changed. So why did we have a change this year? About every 10 years, the National Hurricane Center updates their storm surge modeling data. So we use that new data along historical facts that we've had in Colleton County. And we work with our partners at the South Carolina Emergency Management Division to update our hurricane evacuation zones. So the left of your screen is our old evacuation zones. So we had two zones prior to this year, and those were established in 2012 for Zone A and Zone B. And effective this year, starting with the 2024 hurricane season, we have three hurricane evacuation zones: A, B, and C. The If you've been out in the county, you've probably noticed we've been working since January to put sign posters and signs to mark the hurricane evacuation zones. At the top of your screen, if you see a street sign post with one of these post covers on it, it will be within the zone. So Zone A, Zone B, Zone C. If you're seeing a sign, that will mark the entrance to a zone. So if you pass a sign that says the A, the B, the C, that means you're entering one of those zones. And the zones are basically encompassed in a line that uh, travels from Cottageville Highway at the Dorchester County line into Walterboro to the 5-3 exit down I-95 to the Hampton County line. If you travel south and east of that line and you cross the CSX Railroad, leave then Zone C, and you enter Zone B. And if you cross the Brickyard Bridge on Bennett's Point Road or you cross onto Edisto Island, you'll enter Zone A. Anyone that's in a hurricane evacuation zone, and we sent these to all the postal routes that touch the hurricane evacuation zone. So you would have gotten this in the mail. In it, it describes what the zones are. It has pictures of the post covers and the signs that we placed. And then there's a QR code and a link where you can visit colletonfire.com/know your zone to determine whether you're in an evacuation zone or not. Also, coming week, South Carolina Emergency Management Division's hurricane guides will be coming out. They're available at Walgreens, DOT, in the coast. Then we'll have them out several public buildings, administration building for college, fire rescue headquarters. And in here is wealth information, including what the map for the new zones are. So you can go in there and see whether you're in a new zone and get a lot of information on how to prepare yourself and your family for the upcoming hurricane season. So again, visit colletonfire.com/zone to see more information about the zones, where the post covers are, where the signs are, where the zones are. And then you can go to colletonfire.com/know your zone to see if you are in an evacuation zone. That's actually a mobile device friendly site. Put your location and it'll drop where you are and show you whether you're in an evacuation zone or not. So the 2024 hurricane season predictions, they are they're expected to be a very busy season. Both Colorado State and weather have predicted a extremely active season. That's a result of the El Nino that was in place last year is going away. So that's the warming of the Pacific waters, which causes more shear in the Atlantic basin. So we're in neutral now, and a lot of forecasters are predicting that a La Nina will be in place by the time we get to the peak of our hurricane season, August and September of this year. And with that less year, we'll see the potential for more tropical development in the Atlantic basin. But I want to caution everybody that we don't ever need to base our preparedness level on the predictions. So in 1992, that hurricane season only had 6 named storms. And if you remember back that far, the very first storm was an A name, and its name was Andrew. So if you ask the people of Southern Florida whether that was an uneventful hurricane season, they would probably disagree with you because, of course, Hurricane Andrew decimated Southern Florida and was one of the only six named storms that occurred in the 1992 hurricane. So again, remember, it only takes one. Whether we have one storm or 20 storms, it only takes one. For a second about the cone of uncertainty, we mentioned this every year, but this is what we see from the Hurricane Center. Remember that that graphic is not of the storm's impacts. That cone, the center of the storm is likely to travel 2/3 of the time. So they use the track errors over the last 3 years, and they circle marked out and that creates that where the center to go. One thing that's important to recognize is that over the last years, the Hurricane Center has gotten better and better at predicting the storms. So the cone and the track errors have actually gotten smaller. The storms have not gotten smaller. The tropical cyclones are still very large and can cause impacts well outside the. So remember, it's the cone of uncertainty, not the cone of certainty. Here's of hurricane, and as you can see, the cone forecast on the right. And then what it actually did is, if you remember Hurricane Matthew, it came and really hugged the coast. So it still stayed within the cone, but that again, the impacts were felt a lot farther east than where it was predicted at that point. Here's a tropical storm Florence, and this is 6 days landfall, and then landfall North Carolina, just on the North Carolina border. And again, this is the most important part of this graphic. And please, inform your friends and family of making sure they're reading the probable path storm center. That does not show the size of the storm. So hazardous conditions can occur outside of the cone. In this case, Hurricane Center did a great job for 6 days out. So the landfall would be right where they said it was going to be 5 or 6 days before. So here's a good example of the impact of Hurricane Irma. And if you'll remember, it traveled west. You can see there we were well outside of the cone of uncertainty. Again, as we've said, the we felt well outside the cone. And in fact, in this case, they were. This is it's on the left, the damage that we experienced from Hurricane Irma and Tybee. A lot of storm surge and a lot of damage out of the cone of uncertainty. And if you look at the difference between Hurricane Matthew and Irma, even being further away, the center of the storm, its closest approach was 74 Colleton County, whereas Hurricane Matthew just 25 miles away. But the storm surge was higher than what we saw in Matthew. So again, don't get locked into that cone of uncertainty. Remember, the impacts can occur well outside of that cone, especially when it comes to storm surge. We want to encourage everybody this year to have a plan, build a family emergency kit. So a plan needs to be personalized for you and your family. We have an emergency operations plan here in the Emergency Operations Center. It's 240 pages long. But what we don't consider is, do you have a family member with a special medical need, medication that on a regular basis that needs consideration? All those things need to be planned for this hurricane season. And then, of course, you need to have a kit. That should include what you see on your screen there: 3 days of non-perishable food, 2 gallons of water per person per day, battery-powered NOAA radio, flashlights, extra batteries, manual camera, your cell phone with charger. If you're going to evacuate, know your arrangements for your pets. Turn off your gas, electricity, and water. Fuel up and service your vehicles before you leave. And stay tuned to your local television emergency information. Make sure you're charging your cell phone and mobile devices. Have extra chargers with you. It's not a bad idea to photo or video your house and its contents in case you need an insurance claim upon. It's important to leave early and take your time. Stay on the routes that are established. The hurricane. Don't use your GPS because it's a road that's been closed or that's been reversed or like that. So make sure you're leaving early, take your time, and follow the evacuation routes. If you're evacuating, you should first consider to staying with family or friends outside of the evacuation area or far in. Those options are not available, then the South Carolina Department of Social Services and the American Red Cross will provide a safe place to stay as the hurricane makes landfall. That typically in Colleton County is going to be the Colleton County High School. That's our primary shelter. But remember, these emergency shelters, they lack many of the creature comforts, not having cots or blankets or other until well after hurricane conditions subside. There may be some food available, especially foods for infants or for people with restricted diets. That may not be available. So if you plan to go to a shelter for safety, make sure you're bringing all those items with you. Any aids, pillows, cots, etc. But after the storm, you want to avoid any downed and sagging power lines. Make sure you do not drive through flood water. You don't know what the condition of the road is under the flood. Enter your home carefully. We don't want people to, wildlife higher ground during the storm. So if they have entered your home, you need to be careful of that. And if you smell gas or hear a hissing noise upon your return, make sure you evacuate your home and call 911 immediately. Report any power outages to your utility provider company. Do not report power outages to 911. Ties up to 911. And if you're using generators, charcoal grills, make sure you do it 10 feet from your house, not within 10. Take pictures of damage and report it to your insurance company as soon as possible. And remember that insurance remains your best defense. So that's really FEMA has a number of programs that help you if we get a disaster declaration, if that occurs. But it's usually very limited. The individual assistance grants, for instance, is not a loan; it would be a grant. But the from that $1,500 for this hurricane season. That is not a lot of money if your home has been completely destroyed, but less than 1% of applicants actually get that amount. The average that a person gets from an individual assistance grant from FEMA is usually around $1,500 or $2,000, and that's not either if you have some damage to your home. So remember, insurance remains your best defense against loss. You need to look into taking insurance policy for your and if you're in a flood prone area, it may be something where you need to get an additional rider for flood insurance for your home. There's a lot more hurricane preparedness information available at on emergency management website. That's hurricane.sc. You go there. You can download their emergency manager app. You can see where the zones are. They have a page where you can build your kit, help you build a plan for your. There's a lot of information there that's available to help you prepare for hurricanes. We want to encourage you to visit, and we'll look and see if we have any questions here. Again, you can submit questions to colletonfire.com/question. Okay, I'm not seeing any. So we'll go ahead and conclude the live stream here. But remember, you can submit questions after this live stream. If you have a question later on, feel free to fill out that form at that link, or contact us at Fire Rescue Headquarters, and we'll do our best to get you whatever information you need. Want to encourage everybody to prepare. This is supposed to be a pretty active season, so now is the time to prepare yourself and your family. Have a plan for your family. Please reach out to us if we can help you in any way. Thank you.